the Today Show. I am Unstoppable Tracy, and we are here with Richard Ray, who is an award-winning doer and driver in I believe it's called the Global Economics Magazine. I want to have a peek. And Richard is also inducted into the Hall of Fame by the National Emergency Numbers Association. I had the pleasure of meeting Richard a couple weeks ago in California at a very large conference. He has over 36 years involved with technology advances with the Accessibilities with Disabilities Act, ADA. And many of you know Canada is just recently getting on board with the Canada Disabilities Act. So until about a year ago, we have for a long time followed the ADA. We have our rules in, for example, airlines and trains and transportation have been to follow the Accessibility with Disability Act, because we're just now getting together our Canadian with Disability Act. So although we might be Canadians, this show is broadcasted internationally, the Today Show. And so I'm very excited for our American listeners today and for our Canadian listeners that have long learned from the ADA to have special guest Richard Ray, inductee Hall of Famer. So Richard, before the break, you were telling us about the past struggles with 911, for example. But we are so excited and positive to be celebrating some current successes and some new developments coming our way. Will you share some of the highlights from the conference and some of the technology advances you're most excited about? And be sure to take it to the basics, because many of us in the everyday world don't have your advanced 36-year experience under their belt.
Oh, I will try my best. So, what's really exciting about this journey that I've had for these last 36 years, and I am still involved in that journey, the journey continues for me, is to be able to support all levels of government, whether it's national, state, or local. I've been involved. And in 2010, there was a law regarding access to government services that expanded to include effective communication systems. So that's a very important moment. And the problem was it was a little bit vague as to what other technologies could be included, such as video phones, such as text messaging, and other devices to communicate that would allow people with disabilities to communicate with the public generally effectively. So on the National Emergency Number Association, there was a working group called the Accessibility Committee. I am a co-chair of the Accessibility Committee, and a working group within there is communication modality. And that's where we really focus on the different types of technology that people with disabilities are able to use and communicate with each other. And those are some excellent tools that we can use for our 911 communicators as well, to use that effective technology to be able to communicate with dispatchers so that the dispatchers can know what to expect and how to interact with the people who are calling who might need help. It's a critical program for us because we are moving into what's called next generation 911, where we will be able to provide direct access to emergency services. the way it exists right now, we go through a third party relay service provider. And there's no offense to any of the third party providers out there whatsoever. They do a fantastic job. And the 911 industry is doing a fantastic job. They're just not as compatible and overlapping as they really could be, which is that's part of our challenge. And there's been a lot of delays in people getting the help they needed in a timely manner because of the multiple channels they have to go through. And so once they finally reach 911 for help, time has passed. So, but what's improved from the TTYs I mentioned before our break, those were not effective. There's a dear friend of mine whose parents had died because my friend was not able to reach 911.
Oh.
And so I knew I had to do something to help improve this situation, which is why this has been a passion project of mine for so many years. I tried to help and educate people in 911 dispatch centers to raise their awareness. And that's why I'm so excited about Next Generation 911. Yeah. And that's why I like to go to the conferences on the national level and the state level. And that's where I'm able to meet fantastic people like you, Tracy.
Yeah.
So I've learned so much when I'm able to talk with people and offer feedback to them directly, so that I consider that my role is to be a support to everyone. And whether or not I have the answer at hand, I can find the answer. I can work with these people.
Yes.
Sometimes I'm lucky I have the answer they need right then, but I feel the most critical part of all of this is to be collaborating with absolutely everyone. That's what's key.
You know, Richard, we were the only two people at the conference. My disability is more visible than yours.
Yeah.
But many people know you. And I think when there are key decisions and educational networking that happens at these conferences, that because you attended, because there is a presence, it's top of mind, and that it further drives the mission. You know, Ontario had a law in 2005, and that's Ontario only, for an accessible communications. And their goal was 2025. And Canada's just making that happen now, a Canada with Disability Act, just now. And so it's exciting to hear that you're still part of this journey, and that, you know, a major law started in 2010, although that seems late to you. It's early for us Canadians. And we're leveraging your next generation influences that I know you're so humble to say you're not alone on this journey, but you are integral in being front and center and a constant advocate and educator that's caused this technology to become front and center important. It seems like you'd like to say something. I'll pause.
Yeah, I was just going to say there are so many wonderful people. And absolutely you're right. I did not do this alone. There are fantastic people that work with me. I get to work with them. It all comes back to collaboration, working with the 911 industry, working with the marketers, being able to be a co-chair for the accessibility committee. My co-chair and I work fantastically together. And I've been chair since 2005. And I'm still acting chair of that work. So it's still so critically important to me. And it's just absolutely amazing. Absolutely an amazing organization that I get to work with all of these people, again, nationwide, statewide.
And unintentionally North American wide.
Yes, you are absolutely right. You are absolutely right. And I'm a constant reminder that there are people with disabilities out there. And it's important that these people don't forget us. It's so critical because if we have things built in from the beginning, then we're able to really move forward and be more inclusive through the whole time, including people with disabilities, people who speak different languages, so many communities that it touches. And it's critical to have that built in from the beginning. And that's why we're here. That's why I'm still here.
Yes. And that's why I've invited you to the Today Show, because everyone needs to see what a positive influence I got to see in the conference. I think you know everybody that was there, over 500 people. And because of your presence and opening those doors, people were really receptive. And so I'm hoping after the break that you would be willing to share with people how they learn more, and any final words of wisdom or tips that you would like to share about communicating needs in an emergency, about influencing government potentially, or how to learn more about the next generation 911, or how do they reach you. So please, while the commercial's on, think of your final thoughts that you'd like to share with the world, and any words of wisdom. And listeners, please stay tuned for some final golden nuggets with Richard Ray and Unstoppable Tracy on the Today Show. We'll be right back after these messages.